And let's go in 3 and 2 and 1. All right. I can't with you. I can't. I can't. Okay. I'm not even looking at you now. All right. I'm going to look at the camera. Here we go. In 3, 2, 1. Hey, welcome to the Back and Forth. I'm your host, Kevin, and this is my co-host here, Chanel Renee, Miss Lady, Ma'am, Chanel, whatever her name is today. And today we have got some great topics for you. But one of those things I want to talk about is this right here. What happens if you're a grandparent and you want to see your grandkids, but your children tell you no? Let's go. Ready? And go. That's on camera too. That was on camera. That was on camera. I'm sorry. And I'm not going to edit it out either. So that was on camera. All right.
What's up, everybody? What's going on? What's going on with you, Kev? What's been going on with you this week?
Hey, it's been a great, hectic week. So as you see right now, my surroundings are a little bit different. It's because I'm right now overseas, and we are not going to let this show stop because I wasn't at home. So we still got topics out there we want to bring to you because guess what? Being a co-parent, being a step parent, being a blended parent. What's the other ones you call it?
Bonus parent.
Bonus parent, the other parent, the special parent. Those things that you go through, don't stop. So we're not going to stop, and we're going to keep bringing this content to you every week. And so that's how my week is going so far. I didn't answer the question correctly. I took a little too long on that one, Chanel. I apologize. So how was your week?
Remember, I always miss asking you how was your week. So take all the time you need.
No, I'm not going to take up any more time with people because they're very important, and I know you only did that out of because you felt guilty. So I'm going to turn it back on you. How are you doing, Chanel?
I'm doing well. You're absolutely right. Co-parenting never stops. It never stops. And we got some amazing topics that we're going to bring to y'all today because, we're right here, right in the smack dab of summer. And this is kind of when a lot of the drama starts sometimes when we're talking about visitation and what, the parents should be doing, what our expectations of the other parent. And so we're going to be bringing some of that stuff to y'all today. So I'm excited.
Oh, okay. So you just jumped right in there again, didn't you, huh?
So you didn't jump right in there. I'm just excited about what we're going to be talking about today.
Well, usually you let me bring in the topics, but I guess you're just going to go ahead and take over. So, it's the summertime. Yes, like Chanel just said, it's the summertime, and we know that you as co-parents, some of your responsibilities probably pick up, and some of the co-parents out there, they're a little happy because the children are not around, so they can live a little free. However,
yes.
However, there are times that come with being a co-parent that we must address during summertime or when school's out and doing those holidays and vacations. And one of those topics is this right here. We received a question. You want me to jump into it, Chanel? Do you want me to do it?
Take it away.
Okay.
Take it away.
Thank you. I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to bring up one of the questions. Thank you so much for being kind and humble. So the first question we received was this. Hold on, put my glasses on. Oh gosh. All right.
Really.
It says, how do you navigate or make decisions for summer vacation when both parents have to work? I don't know about you, Chanel, but I'm going to give you the first dib at this because this right here is something that most co-parents go through all the time. And so, what say you on this question?
Well, that is a great question. And I think it's a valid topic to discuss, even with people that are parenting in the same household, because your children, if they're especially if they're elementary age, they can't stay home by themselves. They need to have activities. They need to kind of stay engaged so that when they do go back to school, they haven't lost everything that they learned in the springtime. So this is a really, really good question, Kev. One of the things that kind of me as a mom have always thought about, and this is kind of why one of the reasons why I became an entrepreneur, was so that I can have as much time, of course, with my children, but then also be able to kind of plan what their village is going to look like. Because their village not only includes us as the parents, but also the teachers, the camp instructors, if they go to some type of summer camp, even daycare providers, if they go to a daycare provider or they go to some type of activity, some type of summer activity. So during the springtime is usually around the time where I'm working with my co-parent about what the summertime is going to look like. Because although I do run my own company, he is an educator as well. So he's out during the summer. But like I said, at the end of the day, we want to make sure that our kid is engaged with activities that's going to enhance his physical ability and also his academic ability. Mm-hmm. So we get him enrolled in camps. We start researching different camps, different opportunities based off of what level he is in at the time. So we have camps. We have, like I said, we have a village of aunts and uncles, or really aunts, family members that he can kind of rotate through based on for all of our schedules. And then we all kind of play a part in that rotation. So that's kind of how we work it out. But like I said, I don't think parents should wait till the last minute to get this done. This should be something that you're collaborating about in the springtime so that you can kind of have a well thought out plan so that your children are still staying consistent academically as well as physically and socially. What do you think?
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
How many people are in the village?
How many people are in the village? Oh gosh, the village it can be as big as you want it to be. Here's the thing that I tell parents all the time, though, Kev, is that you and the co-parent are the presidents of the village. So sometimes you may have to fire people from the village, okay, if they're not in alignment with what you're teaching and what you're the morals and the values that you're trying to instill in your children. So you've got to still take the village through a process of making sure that everybody kind of is on similar pages, right? Because your children are going to be a part of their lives. And this village of people are going to be pouring into your children as well. So the village can be 5 people, it could be 10 people. You may have a huge family and it could be 20 people, that's part of the village. My hometown is Kansas. So in my hometown, my village was pretty big in my hometown. Now I live in Atlanta, it's not as big, but I still have a village. I have friends. Now we have an extended family where my son's father is remarried. And so there's an extension of the family there. And we all kind of get along. We all collaborate. We all connect. We're all on group text. So, that's part of the village that he has now.
We have a question in the back of the room that somebody may have a question. I'm going to let them answer. What's the question? Yeah. For those of us who don't know what a village is, because maybe we're geographically challenged or we don't speak that type of language, what is a village? If you don't mind clarifying that for our people out there who are new listeners and may not know what a village is.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that question. Let's break it down. Okay, so a village is, there's this term that says it takes a village to raise a child. That means outside of the mom and dad, the village can include other people that are pouring or adding to the fabric of that child's life. Yeah. So that can be the teacher, that can be the Sunday school teacher, that could be the pastor, that could be the aunties, uncles, grandparents, that could be all of the people that are planting seeds into that garden of that child's life. That's really what the village is.
Okay. They said thank you for that answer. I don't know. Yeah, she was
that's how they teach you?
In the back of the room back there. In the back of the room.
She's in the back. Oh, okay, yeah. Okay.
Thank you for the question. Now,
yes.
Get into this question, which is a great one. Here's the thing. You brought up the village, and it takes a village to help raise a child. Today's day and age, when the majority of families, both parents are still working. And so we have to take that into account now when we have visitation that comes along, because Yes, we want to take the children out for trips in the summer. We want to have a good time with our children while they're with us. However, some people might be in a position where they can't take off work. And what we don't want is our child being raised by an iPad or by the TV, or they're sitting around the house bored, because usually what ends up happening after that is a child starts saying, well, I don't want to go to this parent's house anymore because I'm bored when I'm over there. And that's not fair to the child. Yes, we have to abide by the court rules, and we have to, you have summer visitation or holiday visitation, you have to adhere to that. But it's still our job as parents, when we know that our children are coming, that we make plans for something that we can get our children involved in. Like Chanel said, camps. We can take them to different type of events, or if they're involved in certain kind of sports or academic events, educational type events, that we make sure we get them enrolled in those programs prior to the summer, so we not wait until the last minute when things probably usually are booked up to try to get them in there. So we have to be responsible, the responsible adults, and plan accordingly. Because if you don't, I've seen it, I've lived it when we're little. I don't know about you, Chanel, but when we're little, we will usually have to go to the country for the summer. And for those who are geographically separated, don't know what going to the country means, that means that for us city folk, we will have to go to the country, up into the country, and visit our cousins and our grandparents up in the country for the summer, and work probably for the summertime and spend time with them, taking us out of our lifestyle that we've built up, and throwing us out there in an environment that we're not used to. And so, could you imagine a child being stuck in that environment today that doesn't want to deal with that type of environment, and now they're stuck out there for the whole summer? That's not planning accordingly. That's basically find somebody to babysit for you while you go to work. So
Right.
that's my take on it, because we have to be careful, especially when the children start getting older. You do not, because it happened to me. You don't want to be 13 years old being sent to the country for the summer.
Right.
You've got a different life, and you don't want to be sitting there wasting the summer, because with family, there's nothing wrong with going to visit family, but being there for the whole summer, your life at home is gone because you got to go visit the grandparents. So, I mean,
Yeah.
that's my take on it.
Yeah, definitely. Like you said, being responsible and thinking ahead. You always got to be thinking ahead,
Hmm.
anyway, because your child's future kind of depends on you thinking ahead. Thinking about, okay, if I buy this house, what school is my child going to attend, or we're going to put our child in private school because this is not, an area or a school district where I'm comfortable with sending my children. So you're always thinking about the kids, and that's kind of what the purpose of this show is, to get people to kind of shift their mindset into making decisions and behaving in such a way that they are considering their children.
And I'm glad you brought that
So
up. I'm glad you brought that up, because, like, you were looking at it from the children perspective. I have to look at it from the parents' perspective, and we talk about the communication side where I come in, because, and I talk about co-parenting communication strategies. We have to be able to communicate. Yes, it may say it in the order that the children are going to visit for the summer, and yes, we know that that's going to happen every summer. The children are going to be dropped off. However, we still need to communicate with one another so we know what kind of plans we have for the children. And it's not to say, well, it's none of your business. I understand that. However, your child may have likes and dislikes that may have changed since the last time you saw that child. And just because
right.
that child liked the last time you were there, child might not be interested in that anymore. And here we go, because we didn't communicate. Now we've either wasted money or we might be wasting time. So communicate ahead of time to prevent yourself from having those heartaches or those headaches later on.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Because they grow, and their mindset changes. They're having different experiences, and all kind of stuff. So hopefully, if you are communicating with them throughout the year anyway, not just up into the summer, when you get ready to get them, you'll notice the different changes and developments that they've experienced, so that you can know how to navigate what to kind of plan for the summer. And hopefully, if you and the parent are communicating enough, y'all are, because even though my son lives literally 10 minutes away, his dad lives 10 minutes away from my house, there's things that he's discussing with his dad that he's not going to discuss with me, because he feels comfortable talking
Mhm.
about it with his dad. So with him and his dad and I communicating, I'm still on the same page.
Yes.
Because even though he may not tell it to me, his dad is going to share that with me and say, hey, he may bring this up to you later. So that way you're not completely shocked. And, because my reactions are going to be different than his dad's reactions, right? So that's why he's going to his dad first, probably for certain things that he's coming to me before he's coming to me. Yeah. So, we're still thankfully, praise God, that we're still communicating in such a way that we're not being made to talk. We're looking out for his best interest, and we are communicating even on things that may be socially awkward for him to talk to me about.
And that's a good point that you make there, because the communication between you and his father is essential, because what we don't want to do is get caught up assuming. I had a post about this recently, and I don't know if you can recall. I'm not sure in your generation there, Chanel, but in my generation of people in my age group, we had this thing about the word assume, and what you don't want to assume, because what happens when you assume, you make the but out of you and me. And so we don't want to assume. And that is a good point to bring us to the next topic, which was this right here. Let me put my glasses on again. Unless you want me to read it, I got it. You want me to read it?
I got it.
You got it. You want me to read it? I got it. Or you want? I got it. I got it.
I got it. I'm not gonna let you. I got it. This generation over here got it. We got it.
Okay. Got it. Well, if you got it, then I guess here you go taking over again. I'm just saying. We had a good thing going. The show was going well, and then here it goes. I'm just going. I'm going to buy out. I'm buying
too much work, because your generation is. I'm just trying to let you get some rest today.
Welcome to the back and forth with Chanel and her person on the other end of the camera, Kevin. He's just good for clicking on the buttons.
Don't be like that. Don't be like that. I didn't want you to have to go through the effort of putting your glasses back on and, all of that. I'm looking out for you, I'm looking out for you. But, yes,
You go ahead, Chanel Renee, Miss Lady Chanel. You go right on ahead. Let's get into the next one. I had a great segue into my point, but I'll let you go ahead and you go ahead.
You feel like you were struggling with the glasses.
No,
I'm trying to. You was what?
Nothing. Now you try to say I lost my hearing. I can hear fine. Go ahead.
No, I thought you were struggling with your glasses.
Go ahead. I got you. Go ahead.
So that was great. So we're talking about school academics and stuff like that. And this question came in, and it says, my son recently had an end of the year event for school that his mother did not attend. He was unaware that she wouldn't be in attendance. Should I address this, as it hurt my heart when he was looking for her? Oh, this hurts my heart reading it. Kev, I'm going to let you go ahead and take this one, because I need to get my emotions together.
Well, I always talk about communication. And this right here is a prime example of what happens when either we don't communicate well, or we communicate well and there may be some miscommunication. And this point right here, this question right here, is one that it's hard not to get your feelings involved in this one. If you're the parent who was looking for the other parent to be there, and the child might be disappointed, and you have to do everything within your power to basically be there to make sure that child is still feeling good about themselves because the other parent did not show up. That's when we as parents have to be the adult in the situation and not disparage the other parent in front of the child. Even though we know in our hearts that we might be upset. I want to use another word to start with a peed off. I don't want to say the word. I don't want to say the word. So we
You
might
could
be.
just speed past that, like you didn't say what you just said.
I didn't want to say Pete off, but you are literally upset at that one right there because you know if you've given that parent the right dates and the time and they still don't show up, and now the child is asking questions and you have to either apologize for the other parent or make some kind of excuse up in order to keep the child going so the child doesn't end up doing something irrational, getting upset, and at an end of school year event and the child's looking forward for both parents to be there. Now, if a parent has to work and they can't get off or something like that, we can understand that. But you have to communicate. I don't care
Yeah.
if you're frustrated with that other parent and you don't like that person, you don't like the person they're dating, you don't like the person they're married to. It's not about us as parents. It's about the
Yeah.
children. And we have to set our feelings aside, set our own personal issues aside, and be there for our children. Because remember, our children did not ask to be here. Chanel, I'm going to give this back to you before I start getting fired up. And I'm going to let you take it over here. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Ooh, so I had to get my emotions in check too, because here's the thing that I deal with this on the back end or on the future end of it, because these people still carry this hurt into their adulthood. My mama didn't show up. My dad didn't show up. I didn't feel like I was worth it. Right. And so they start to have these things happening in life, where they start living a type of lifestyle because they didn't feel worthy enough from their parents. Seeing a child look out the window, look for their parents that are not showing up, it just saddens my heart. It really, really saddens my heart. And here's one of the things that, like you mentioned, that communicating, even if they communicated to that child, listen, mommy can't be there because she has to work or whatever the case may be. Let that child know. Now the child is feeling not only that you didn't show up, but they're not even worthy for you to talk to them about why you didn't show up. Like, they're not owed an explanation because they're a child.
Yeah.
Really? So at what point do you feel like the child is worthy of an explanation? Right? At what point do you feel like your decisions does not impact your child enough to the point where they got to wait till they're grown for you to explain it away? And I love that we have the topic that we're getting ready to talk about, but it's almost like, oh, you're a kid, you need to stay in a kid's place. Well, wait a minute now. Wait a minute. So when they become an adult, now you want to friend them on Facebook. No. Remember, I'm not one of your little friends. You're not one of my little friends. Why you want to friend me on Facebook now? Why you want to be all up in my life now? Because you didn't want to be up in my life and
Don't do it.
communicate when I was a child.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Chanel, I see what you're about to do. Don't do it. Because you're going to speed bump right past this, and I'm not going to even hit the sound. You're not going to jump. You're not going to jump into our hot topic, because no, because you're speed bumping right into it, because I know what you're about to do. But I'm going to jump in here and slow the train down a little bit. So I want you all to really understand what this thing does to children. As parents, I want you to understand this, because I'm a product of parents not showing up for games. Going a whole high school career playing all the sports, and your parents don't show up for one game at all. And that followed me into my adulthood, and I felt some kind of way about it. But did you hear what I just said? I felt some kind of way about it, which means my feelings were involved. Now, here's the thing. Every parent has reasons why things get done, don't get done. And sometimes we feel as a parent, we don't need to explain ourselves to our children.
Yeah.
But this is what happens. As a child, you grow up and you're going through this kind of stuff. You feel some kind of way about the other parent or about a situation, and you do not want to drag that into your relationship with your future spouse or the children that you have. And so you may try to overcompensate for something that happened to you because you don't want that to happen to your children. But sometimes we have to pull ourselves out of that situation and look at that thing for what it is. My mom didn't show up or my dad didn't show up. But did I ever ask why? Because for one, parents may have had to work. Parents may not could afford to take off. Parents may have been going through something and they couldn't get there. But as a child, you don't see that. All you have are the memories that you were left with because of that incident. And that's what I call one of those scars that you have, that every time you feel that scar, it reminds you of what happened to cause that scar to occur. And we
Yeah.
carry these things. Don't think that just because you didn't show up for your child's school event that they'll be okay. Odds are sometimes they may remember that thing, and they may
Yeah.
take that thing with them all their life and never tell you about it, but they feel some kind of way, and they may hold that against you later on in life, and they may blow up at you because of something you
Yeah.
did you thought was innocent. So
Yeah.
see how I just pulled that back, Chanel, because you about to railroad this thing. You about to run right through the stop sign,
I
go through the stop
was, because
sign.
and I'm glad that you shared that, Kev, because you know it's important that you even acknowledge that how you felt as an adult about that. And like I said, I counsel with people that have these feelings and they're looking for healing from that, because so that they can have more of an effective life, and they can be more of an effective parent for their children. But they've been carrying this hurt, this pain, this disappointment from what their parents did.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I'm so passionate about co-parenting, blended families, the village, because we create these adults that are trying to maneuver through life with these disappointments, and they really are not getting the answers that they're looking for, because number one, the parent probably feels ashamed now, but are not at a place to really provide the answers that this child needs. And that's why I tell parents all the time, you need to save these receipts. You need to have some pictures, something, because these kids if they really want healing, they're going to need to get the answers from you to be a part of that healing process.
And that's good, because we talk about being a co-parent, but think about this from the grandparent standpoint. Because as a grandparent, when your grandchildren start asking you questions about their mother or their father, and you can't, I want to say this and be very tactful about how I say this. You want to be careful what you say to your grandchildren, because what they've been fed from their parents, which were your children, may be different than what you tell them. And they may come back at you and say, well, mommy or daddy said this.
That part.
And now
that
what?
Part. Oh, you about to open up a can of worms, Kev.
I'm just saying, because this is real life. What we do affects our children. What we do affects our children, which affects their children. And now it may come back around full circle, and you may have the answer for something that you might not even remembered. And guess what?
God.
Your children remember a whole lot more than what you've forgotten. And because it affected them in a different way. Something that you overlooked, or you just sped bump past. That child was left with that doggone that obstacle left in their way, and they may not have been able to get over that obstacle, and they may be stuck with it, and they may be dragging that thing around all their lives, and it may be something innocent to you. So be careful what you say and what you do to your children, because it may come back. And I think I've done this a couple of shows. It may come back to bite you in the butt later on, grandparent.
Yes. Woo! I'm not going. I can't say nothing, Kev, because we'll be out of time.
Well, I'm just saying, you are more of the expert or the guru. I hate people use those titles, because you are the go-to in the children's department, and you can speak on this stuff, because we may look at it a little bit different as parents, but when you talking to that child, it may be seen in a whole different light.
Totally different light. I've made phone calls to parents, because some of the things that the child shared was so intense. I asked the child's permission to talk to their parents about what we talked about, because I felt like, although our sessions are private and for them, there's things that are discussed in those sessions My conscience wouldn't let me just let that just go.
Mm-hmm.
Like, also, do I have your permission to discuss this piece with your parents?
Mm-hmm.
Because perhaps I want to believe that this is not their intention, but we won't know until we discuss it with them. You know, and most of the time they do want that. They want clarity. They want their parents to give them more clarity so that they don't have to think this way about them.
You know, that's a good one right there. Because if they are thinking a certain way, I want you to know something. Here we go. Here we go. I'm gonna get mine in. You're not gonna stop me this time. So, we receive this scenario, which is gonna be our hot topic for today, because it needs its own time and space. So check this out. It says this. My childhood girlfriend had my son. I didn't want him, never got involved. Today he's doing very well and has a kid. I connected with him on social media and he said this, him, no disrespect, but I'm a man now and I don't need a father. We're adults. This is what the grandfather said. We're adults. I should know my grandkids. I'm gonna put my glasses down on that one. Chanel, I'm gonna let you tackle this one first before I jump
Are
into
you
this.
ready? You ain't ready for this, Kev.
Yeah, we sort of. I had to pull. I had to pull the train back. I had to pull the train back because you were going there. You were going there. You were going there. So I'm gonna have to now. I can unleash you to release what you have been storing up on this one, and go.
Oh my God! Where is that same energy that you had now back when I was a kid?
Ooh.
Why is that? Where is this new energy coming from? Where is this new energy? Please tell me. Let me know where this new energy coming from.
Ooh. Okay.
You got a whole lot of explaining to do about this new energy you got right now, sir. First of all, who are you? Who are you? Who are you? Before you even here's my thing as a mom. I'm a mom through and through, and I say that all the time. But I'm a mom through and through. And before anybody can get to my son, they've got to come through me. First of all, if they get through his dad, then they got to come through me. So you got layers. You got layers before you even get to my kid, right? Who are you? First of all, I need to know you first. Because I'm not going to allow your whole, whatever you got going on, to touch them, to even get to them. I need to figure you out. Where is this new energy coming from? Where is this? What's going on?
Can we extend some grace, please?
Go ahead, Kev. You can get some grace. Go ahead.
I was being the person. The grandparent? Can we extend some grace, please? Maybe.
Well, let me get to know you. You take me out to dinner. You take me out for coffee. Let me know who you are. Where is this coming from? Is this coming because you got it? Because here's the deal. And this can happen with dads too. That's not in their kid's life. They had nothing to do with the kid, but let them get a little girlfriend. All of a sudden, they find out a year. Where is this new energy coming from? This new energy is coming because you're trying to impress this woman that's expecting you to be a great father because she has children. Now all of a sudden you want to be father of the year, but you ain't been getting your kids all for the last 5 years of their life. So that's why I need to know, where is this motive? Because this motive, it may be short-lived, and I'm not about to expose my children to some inconsistency foolishness. We're not doing that. I had to live with that. So you're not about to do that to my kid. I had to heal from that. So I'm not gonna let that become a part of their generation.
So I'm gonna play the contrarian on this one.
Okay, go ahead.
And I'm gonna say this right here. As a child who never met his grandfather on my father's side, this is a touchy one. At least this person right here was, they owned up to and said that they had the child was from a childhood girlfriend, and he didn't want him, and never got involved. At least he was man enough to say that. But in this situation right here, what if this man who was never around was run off by the parents, and the mother was never notified that they'd run that kid off? So they had the child at a young age, and they fell out, told that young man, "Don't you come around my daughter anymore. We'll take care of this child." And so the child grows up thinking that dad never wanted to be part of my life, whereas in the same time frame, the father never showed up because he was told not to be around. And I'm only speaking from experience on this because at me being almost 50 years old, I never met my grandfather. Hmm. And because, you know, I believe that he was told not to come around. And so when you're told not to come around, you don't come around. And then so the sins of the father get passed on. And I know my dad didn't want to have anything to do with him. But that's not stopping me as a grandchild wanting to meet whoever my grandfather was. Because there are things that come along with that now. You have family genetic issues you may be worried about. Okay, where am I getting this from? Is this running in my family? How do these things, why do these things happen to me? Or what is my family like that I've never met? And so we can see it from one side as a parent, but it's not the child's fault.
Right.
And I understand everything you said, and I feel everything you said. But this child is not given the option to get to meet their grandparents because we only have one life. And
Right.
if we don't live it till its fullest, if we go around carrying grudges for the rest of our lives, how's that rubbing off on our children? And what are they picking up that we're putting out there? And so
Right.
I want to be very careful with this one because I can see it from both sides. I especially see it from your side, Chanel. But I look at it from the grandfather side. Yes, that was a mistake he made, but he owned up to it. But it's like you said, it might be too little, too late. But what you don't want to do is take that to your grave. You know, man, this is rough because if I had a child out there that I didn't know about, I'd be busting out any kind of walls I could to try to find out who my child is. Because you may have grandchildren out there, and it's not fair
Right.
to them. And so step parents fill a role, but they're not the biological parents. And
Right.
if the biological parents are around and you are able to speak to them, I don't care if you're not going to mend those fences. But
Right.
even the introduction of the grandchild would probably mend some heartache that's going on with the grandfather on that situation right here. So I'm just being a bigger person on this one right here, Chanel, and saying that just an introduction goes a long way towards healing some old wounds. I'm not saying you can be buddy buddy and go out throw the ball anymore because you're grown now.
Right.
But
Right.
the grandchild in this situation, I think the grandchild has a right to be able to get to know who this person is, and so they're not asking this question later on. I probably talked too long.
Right.
I apologize.
No, you're good. You're good. So the I feel like the problem here is that, well, just reading the scenario was that the grandfather felt entitled to just, like, we're adults now. We don't need to hash out my decision to not be in your life.
Mm.
It wasn't out of his control to not be in his life. He specifically said, I chose not to be there. So, coming in like I have a right to your children, I think was the wrong way to go about it.
Mm.
Personally, I felt like that was the wrong way to go about it. I think if he owned up and said, listen, I made some crazy mistakes, when you were born and when you were coming up, I want to own that. I want to, not necessarily be buddy buddy and throw the ball around because you're grown, but I want to own that, and I want to be able to move past that,
Mm-hmm.
because now I'm seeing now what I probably should have seen 30 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to contribute some way to your family. To, obviously it's about the family, it's supposed to be about the grandchildren, right? So I want to contribute to your family.
Mm-hmm.
And that to me is the olive branch that should have been extended, not that I'm entitled to this.
Yeah. Yeah. What you're not going to do is try to get me to cry on here, Chanel, about bringing these little hot topics out here that make people try to get water out my eyes, some saline, salty substance, wet substance coming out my eyes on this camera, because we're transparent here. We're
Yes.
transparent, and we give it to you straight, because this thing right here is real, because a lot of these topics people are going through and they need help and advice on. And
Yeah.
we've lived some of this stuff, and we can speak from the outside looking in, because sometimes you need that conversation, as if I want to say the right word here, conversation, because we don't have any vested interest in these people. We don't know what happened in the background, but we can go from that scenario and build on it from there. And I think we're doing a great job of that, because this thing right here touched a point with me. I didn't even know I was going to say that before we started going there, but it touched something when Chanel started talking about, got to go through the father, got to go through her. And I started thinking, as a grandparent, which is what I am, what would happen if I couldn't see my grandkids? And, not to be entitled, but what would happen if I couldn't see my grandkids? I don't ever want to feel that entitlement. Well, I'm the grandparent, I have the right. No, you don't have the right to do anything. You got the right to pay taxes and die. That's all the guaranteed life you're going to get. But in this situation right here, you have to be able to communicate, because if you don't, this is going to continue, because that son feels some kind of way. And he has the right to feel that way, and no one can tell him different. He's a grown man with his own children. And here comes this guy who wasn't a part of his life, almost demanding I need to see my grandchild. No, it doesn't work that way. Like you said, we need to sit down and have some coffee. We need to have a little chit chat to figure out what's going on.
Right.
How are you? What's going on in your life? Because and so we have to be able to be adults in this situation and be able to have that conversation with people, those uncomfortable conversations that need to be had in order for us to move forward. Because you can't just come in and demand to see your grandson. No, you can't.
Right.
You can't. It's too many. It's too many obstacles and burnt bridges and stuff that's behind you for you to just come through and say, "I this is what I want." Nah, it doesn't work that way, sir. Because that's what you're going to call,
right,
sir. It doesn't work that way. Yeah.
Right. And this is kind of almost correlating with the entitlement to not be involved. Like, well, I have a right to not be involved, and now I have a right to, like, you asserting too many rights that you don't have. Really, you know what I mean? Okay, you exerted your right to not be my father in my life, to not be my dad. You fathered me, but you wasn't my dad.
Yeah.
And so you did that. You did that. But that's all you about to do. Until we can get some stuff underway to where I feel comfortable in bringing my children into this type of environment.
That was good. Because this topic got a little under the skin on this one right here. But that's what we do here on the Back and Forth. We're gonna give it to you real. We're gonna give it to you raw. And you see, Chanel got a little emotional there, and she almost started crying. That's what I saw, but not me.
That's what you saw, Ken?
Not
with
me.
Your glasses on?
Not me. I didn't see that.
With your glasses. I think you need to put your glasses back on.
Not me. That's what I'm saying, because she started. Y'all saw her start clapping. She almost started doing the one hand clap. She started one hand clapping almost. So we thank you all for those topics and those questions that you all are sending in. And by all means, please keep sending them in, because we're going to keep on discussing them, because these things are real. And we want to make sure we're touching on the real topics out there that you all, as co-parents, step-parents, bonus parents, blended parents, other parents, that you all are going through on a daily basis. We want to tackle them so that you can get an outside opinion on how to handle these things before you do and say something that you might regret later. So we're going to take this thing out. Chanel, What have you got going for yourself, and how can the people reach you?
Yes, so we're in the summer. We're in the summer. It's hot. We're doing all kind of stuff. Um, we are, putting some things together for you guys, parents, co-parents, blended families, all of you all. We're putting some stuff together for you all, and we're just trying to make sure that we're bringing some content that is of value. That's something that you can implement, some tools, some strategies, some things for you to consider right now. Right now, you don't have to be a genius or a rocket scientist to implement these tools that we're bringing to you. So, we're just kind of out here doing our thing, and helping families out here get it together, really, really get it together. We're living in times where, children need their families to work together. They do. And that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm all about. So how you can get a hold of me? You can get a hold of me. You can go to www.pricelessandbeyond.org, and you can find all of my stuff there. I have courses. I have digital ebooks. I have workbooks. I have all kind of stuff over there. So go ahead and check that out. What's going on with you, Kev?
Oh, you finally asked me because I thought I was going to give another show, which
I
you're
knew
not
you were
asking
shaking
me.
your head. No, 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 no. No, no, no. You not going to do that to me today, sir.
I know you've been a little emotional this whole show, and clapping your hand, one hand clapping. So I'm going to do this. Hey, so you can reach me on at my website, Team BYW. That's www.teambYW. We'll put it down in the comments how you can reach us to see what I have to offer out there, because I specialize in coaching co-parents and their communication skills, so they can be better parents and for themselves and their children. And that's very important, as you see a lot of these topics touch on communication, and that's where I come in on this at. And you can also see me out there on my IG page, Kevin_L_Scott. I'll put that down the link, or I'll put it underneath us down here somewhere. But what I don't want to do is, I will be remiss if I didn't tell you all to like, subscribe, and hit that notification button, because Chanel didn't remind me to do that at the beginning of the show. So I'll throw those things up at the beginning of the show. So you all make sure you all come back on the next show. We do this every Wednesday. We put new content out there. So we'd be glad as you all come back and visit us. And please, please hit the comments down there. Let us know if you like it, and let us know what kind of subjects you want us to tackle. And we'll jump on those things, because we got enough to be talking about, because everybody's going through something every day. So with that being
Yes.
said, stay safe and be blessed, and take us out, Chanel. What do you say?
All right. So y'all be safe out there in these streets. I know the streets are calling your name, but be safe out here in these streets. And we're going to say God first and safety second. All right. Make sure you put him first.
Okay, that was something new. She added something to that one, but that's it for everybody. We see y'all the next time. We out. I did it again. I did it again. I'm out. All right, y'all.